What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. So what we have today is going to be an unboxing and a review. So we're going to be unboxing a phone as well as reviewing it. Let's roll the intro. Okay, perfect. So I managed to get my hands on this beast of a phone once again. I think we had to get rid of it like, the last time. But yeah, we just managed to get our hands on this beast of a phone once again. So what we have today is going to be the Stylo Apex, but we're going to be reviewing the yellow one. Let's hope 2 times is going to be the charm. So this is what the box looks like. So this is all corners of the box. I mean, it's just the only difference, when you compare to my last video, is going to be the colors basically. But the specs are basically the same thing. This is what we have for those who aren't familiar with the phone. So we actually have Android 14 installed. We have a 6.8-inch screen. That's a very large screen. And then the front camera obviously is going to be 16 megapixels, but then the 16 megapixels is generic, so it's not the best. And then we also have a back camera of 50 megapixels, which also is generic, so it's not the best. I'll actually add videos, as I was walking back. And then we also have a 5,000 milliamp battery. So I think this basically is standard, nowadays. Most budget phones do come with 5,000 milliamps, but it also has 18 watts of fast charging. And then the processor is basically 2.2 gigahertz, and it's a Unisoc T770 processor, so basically supports 5G. David Wilson actually mentioned that this phone basically outperforms, the Redmi that we reviewed. It outperforms, basically, this is a standard 5G processor, basically outperforms, most 4G processors. And then we also have like Fingerprint, we have face unlock, we have 5G Wi-Fi, we have 5G, we have Wi-Fi, we have a torch, we have all of these other sensors. And then we have 12 gigs of RAM, so it's basically 6 plus 6. But like I mentioned, this phone here, the blue one that I had, it's basically the 12 gigs of RAM. It's more than enough. Like, this phone comes with stock Android, so you don't need to worry about it. And then it basically supports dual SIM, so MTN plus any other net. So as long as you have MTN on the first SIM card slot, then it should work, or on the second SIM card slot you can use any network. But let's just quickly do the boxing. So I'm going to detail because I already have a video of this. But this is what we have in the box. So the phone obviously will come back. And then obviously this is very clean, so I think the box is very clean, but I think leave it around. But what we get, I'm hoping it's visible, so what we get is the interesting. And then we also get, you can see it's basically brand new. It's going to be headsets, so USB Type-C headsets. So I'll actually do a 360 of the phone, and then we get the charging brick here. So it's a USB Type-C to C USB charging brick, and then obviously this is the cable. Like I mentioned, it's USB Type-C to C, and I'll just put that there. And then we also get, let me just remove them one by one. But we also get the manual, the phone manual. So this basically tells us how to use the phone and whatnot. So I'll just add that there. And then fortunately we also get a case, a transparent case. But then let's just go back to the phone. I'll just place it in the case there. So I actually took another risk. So I was actually thinking maybe the blue one had 1 or 2 problems. It might have been like maybe the only one that had those problems. So I thought, why not, let's just take a risk and get another one. But as you can see, the phone, let me just give a 360 of the phone. So the phone has nothing at the top, and then on this side here, I'm hoping it's visible, but this side we have the power buttons, the volume buttons, and then we have the fingerprint sensor as well as the power button there. And then at the bottom there we have let me just fix that there. So we have speakers there, so it's mono speaker, so a single firing speaker. And then we have a USB Type-C charging, so like I mentioned, it's 18 watts. And then here we have the mic, and last time I had a problem with the mic, so I'm hoping this time that's not going to be the case. And then here we also have the SIM card slot. And then on this side, just like the top, so there's nothing on this side. So the phone, so this is what the phone looks like. And as you can see, like with this phone, it's basically stock Android, and unfortunately this time I'm using my laptop to actually record. But as you can see, like, it's very fast, very responsive, very snappy, and I think that's what I like about it. And now, like I mentioned, the camera is not the best. I would actually add pictures and videos that I took. Let me add them now. Okay, so this is just a test of the Stylo Apex, the back camera. So this is the sky. Um, this would be like the ground, as you can see. I'd say you can actually tell that it's a very big like a downgrade when you compare it to the Redmi, but under like good lighting, it does capture like details correctly. And as you can see, you can tell with the trees, it's not very clear as to what's showing there. The focus is not very good. The colors, I think it's over sharpened. So for me, it's not very detailed. I think it's over sharpened to a point where you can't actually tell what you are looking at. But yeah, this should be like the camera, and then I'll basically just test the selfie camera. Okay, and this is the selfie camera. I hope it's audible for you guys, but you can see the lighting. It's very contrasty, the selfie camera, but I'm actually happy with the detail. I'm not sure how it's gonna look post processing, but you can see it's very good. Under decent lighting again, the camera should not disappoint. But for me, I'd say it's not the best. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the best. It's too contrasty, like it's too dark. Like there's not enough lighting there, and the detail at the back is not very good. So I'm not sure how this would be under lighting. So I'd say the Redmi, with the 13 megapixel camera, basically feels much better than this one. But yeah, this should be the selfie camera. Let me know what you guys think. Perfect. So just let me know what you guys think. Like, is the quality, is it there? Is it decent enough, or is it like lacking a lot? Because this phone has like genetic specs where it outperforms is that you get 5G capabilities, and you get the better, because you have a 5G chip, you get better performance, gaming wise. But I was actually having an interesting chat because I had to go get a screen protector installed. So while I was doing that at one of the Indian shops, the guy actually mentioned that this phone is good, but once the screen is messed up, basically hard for you to get a replacement screen. You can see it still has like bezels there, and then it's still on Android 14. So I don't think much has changed since I've had the phone. But what I'm going to do is I'll also let me just test what the audio sounds like. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. So what I have for you guys is a review of the Huawei Nova 12i. So now this is a beast. So as you can hear, like the audio on this one feels very crisp, compared to the one that I had previously, like the blue one. So this one here is very clear. So I had to turn on like mono mode, just so that we hear like the full sound of both left and right speakers, just see what it looks like. 360 view of what it looks like. So it has a SIM card slot there at the bottom, and it's close to it. It has a microphone as well as USB Type C. And I'll actually talk about the charger because it has like very fast charging speed. But then again, it also has a speaker. So basically, you can hear, like, I think the video output is very good. I think the video output is very solid. It's very crisp. The screen is very clean. It's very large. So I think for me that's very interesting. Again, I'm gonna post a gaming review, because that's the important part. I want to see how it runs the games that I actually tested on the Redmi. So for the most part, I'm happy with the phone, but I just wanted to show you guys something. I'm not sure if it's still going to do that now. Okay, now it's fine, but initially it was bugging me out. Like, when I open YouTube, it just closes. Open YouTube, it just closes. So that was my problem, initially with with the Stylo. So the software, you're gonna have like a lot of software issues with it. So the phone is not properly optimized, left in like base Android custom ROM, I believe that's what they did. So you're gonna have like a lot of software issues. There'll be times where the phone doesn't open the apps like properly. So me, initially what I had was a mic problem, as well as okay, let me actually test the camera and just make sure that the audio, it's actually capturing the audio. It's actually capturing the audio properly. So let's just play that back and see. It's actually capturing the audio properly. So let's just play that back and see. It's actually capturing the audio properly. So let's just play that back and see. It's actually capturing the audio. Yeah, so I think it still has that, the same issue where the mic, the audio from the mic is still very low. That's the issue that I had, last time. But I think overall, the phone is very solid. Like, you just can't get anything better than this for this price. So this is what it looks like, at the back. So this is, I'm not sure if I actually showed the back, but yeah, this is the 50 megapixel camera, and then these are just VGA cameras, as well as a flash there. And then this camera bump is the one that I'm actually worried about, because this thing tends to get scratches very easily. And then on the front there we have, let me just turn on the screen, but yeah, we have the selfie camera there. So it's basically 16 megapixels, but it's basically generic. So let's just finish the unboxing so that we can conclude the video. This is the charging brick. So it's an 18 watt charging brick. That's it. also comes with headsets, and then now the problem with this is that the headsets are actually USB type C, so you don't get a headphone jack, meaning you actually can't charge your phone and use your headsets at the same time. So that's a bit of a bummer. There is the USB type C to C cable, so it's basically an 18-watt cable. So, and then you also have the SIM ejector. So, for me overall, we're actually going to test it, see how it handles those heavy games. So let me just finish setting it up. For the most part, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it looks. I'm hoping it's going to be able to handle gaming and stuff like that. But you can definitely tell that it's it's a big downgrade, camera-wise from the Redmi. And I think also just the overall experience, like it's very dull. That's the problem with it. It's very dull. Like I also mentioned, I think last time in my other video, like this thing is very bland. Like the UI or stock Android is very, very boring. So you need to you need to like install like a theme or something if you want to actually enjoy using this phone. But I think the camera is still good under decent light. The phone is actually 1,699 rand thereby perhaps. So the price has been decreasing on this phone, so I'm not sure why that is. If you want the phone that has like performance over camera and stuff like that, so this phone basically gives you that. So I definitely suggest going for it. You get 5G. It's the cheapest 5G phone that you can get brand new out of a store. But let me know what you guys think, how you enjoying the phone, if you did get it, and what do you guys think of the yellow one when you compare it to the blue one. But yeah, with that said, cheers and bye for now.